pull-ups. I've been postponing this video because if you thought that push-ups were a complex movement, then the pull-up is even harder to explain. Although there are fewer form cues to keep in mind while doing the pull-up, there is a lot of variation among which version you want to choose. Now, I'll focus only on those that helped me the most and I think that are the best variations for skills in calisthenics. So I will not be talking about the arched back, small range of motion pull-ups with wide grip or chin-up that are popular in bodybuilding. What I will, however, explain is how to get to a point where you can start learning the high pull-ups, muscle-ups, and front lever pull-ups, ultimately leading you to front lever and other skills. Now it's very important that you understand the scapular positioning. What you want to do here is to retract and depress your shoulder blades with straight arms. This is called an active hang. During your working sets, you want to keep this active hang without you letting your shoulders drop. When you do this, you realize that the pull-up in calisthenics is not a vertical pull, it's a diagonal one. Your body is supposed to move in a slightly diagonal line. This is what lets you go around the bar into a muscle-up. Hands slightly more than shoulder width apart, pull towards your chest, elbow in. Don't think about lifting your chin above the bar, since that will cause your shoulders to round on top. Instead, pull towards your chest or even under your chest. Core, contrary to common belief, is not as important. You do not have to have a hollow body in the beginning, since this will make pull-ups ridiculously inefficient. But this doesn't mean that you have to or you should arch your back. You will see that as your sets reach failure, you'll start arching in the bottom and hollowing on the top of the pull-up naturally. Keep legs straight at all time, with intention of them being in line or slightly in front of the body, and never bend your legs. As long as you feel like there's tension throughout your whole body, it's alright. Moving on to progressions. Australian pull-ups, which can be done either on the bar or rings, is a great beginner exercise. Every single person can do them. Spend some time on this to get the form right and build mind-muscle connection to know how it feels to pull with your back. Here, elbows go 45 degrees. Make sure you squeeze the rings or bar as hard as you can, as the grip strength will significantly increase your pull-up strength. You'll notice that often it will be the forearms fatiguing before your back and thus postponing your gains. Adjust the difficulty with the angle of your body. Progress to jumping pull-ups once you get really good at Australian pull-ups. This is the most important progression there is. Simply jump up without forgetting the form and slowly lower yourself all the way down. Take your time during the negatives and don't lose the scapular position during the movement. Here I do these for reps until you can't control the negatives anymore, then move back to Australian pull-ups and keep going. My advice is to work on these two progressions simultaneously. Once you can do controlled negatives for 10 reps, you should be able to do a couple pull-ups. This is where the fun starts. Each set starts with pull-ups. Once you can't do them anymore, start doing jumping pull-ups with slow negatives, and then finish off with Australian pull-ups close to failure. Do this for about 3 sets and 8 to 10 reps in total. Do this until you get comfortable with pull-ups and can do at least one set of 8 reps. Once you reach this point, you should use the thin resistance bands. The 2 thinnest ones are alright, but don't use any band that's thicker than that, because then the bands will become useless and you won't get much strength with doing pull-ups with a thick band. Use bands in sets where you can't finish the rep range and progressively overload from there. It's also a great idea to finish off your workouts with a drop set of jumping pull-ups with slow negatives and then Australian pull-ups into a dead hang hold, because dead hangs are very good for your grip strength and again, they're very important for increasing your pull-up number. Do this until you have 3 sets of 8 to 10 pull-ups. Now, since you already are good at pull-ups, you have a couple options. One is to start working on explosive strength. This will help you pull higher and higher, ultimately pulling to your waistline or even lower. This is the best exercise for the muscle up and the only one you need. Do not try to learning muscle up progressions because they are a waste of time. Learning explosive pull up will let you pull so high that you can even skip the dip part of the muscle up. It will be much more satisfying and you won't waste a lot of time on a useless exercise. The other option is to start training tuck front lever pull-ups. If you worked on your progressions diligently, you should have enough strength to start doing these. For how to progress and achieve the full front lever, check out my front lever video, where I go over the front lever pull-ups more thoroughly. Another option is to work on your weighted pull-ups. If you decide that that is your priority, meaning increasing strength and size, then go for it. However, I am skill oriented and so I did not do them, and so I won't cover those. As you probably noticed, progressing here is less structured than in push-ups. You should be able to feel when you can progress. In the end, if you skip progressions or do not do them diligently, the only person you're cheating is yourself, and trust me, it will catch up with you later on. Give it time. Your muscle will grow regardless of which progression you're working with, as long as you're working with correct intensity. When it comes to planning, once you can do 3 sets of pull-ups with thin resistance bands, I'd split the upper body day into push and pull to make room for more exercises. For pulling, I'd highly recommend you to add some rotator cuff exercises like face pulls and basic internal and external rotation exercises, as well as wrist and hamstring stretches. Hanging L-sit is also beneficial for your core. Now you might be wondering why the exercises I'm giving are not pull related. Well, that's because pull-ups alone will be enough to stimulate growth and increase in strength, while you might want to use the time you have for the rotator cuff, which will thank you down the line. I personally didn't do it, and I wish I did. Because I completely neglected my rotator cuff exercises, right now I have a slight injury in my left shoulder, and it's making handstands very difficult. As well as I have to spend about 20 minutes before each workout just doing shoulder rotation exercises. Now this will be it for the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, feel free to message me on my Instagram or leave a comment down below. I'll try my best to answer them. I also saw that there were 10K views under my first video today, and that was pretty impressive, and I did not expect that. I would like to thank you for all your support again, and see you in the next one.